Good afternoon, everybody. It's your girl BeeSparrow coming to you on this Sunday, March 31st, 2019. It's 3:12 p.m. and I wasn't even going to do a podcast today, but I came across a few articles that I wanted to share. And if you want to engage, I can be reached at 301-860-2721. But first, I wanted to talk about the Pope and how he explains his reluctance to have people kiss his ring. This is interesting, y'all. So let me just start by saying that I tell you guys all the time, I'm not claiming to be a Bible scholar. I just love to study God's Word. I believe that there is a true and living God, and I do believe that He sent His Son here to save us all. Now that's my belief. If you don't believe it, this podcast is not for you. Okay? I do not argue with people about the Word of God. I might give you my opinion and share with you what I believe, but that's about it. You believe what you believe. I believe what I believe. Okay, according to MS in the Associated Press in Vatican City, the Pope Francis has set the record straight about pulled his hand away when throngs of people lined up this week to kiss his ring for fear of spreading germs. A Vatican spokesman said Thursday that Francis was concerned about hygiene when, after greeting dozens of well-wishers in a lengthy receiving line Monday, he began pulling his hand away to discourage people from kissing his ring. Well, how many of y'all know that we're not supposed to be kissing that ring anyway? It's a form of worship, and we're not supposed to be worshiping anybody except for the Most High. So that's my issue. We always putting people on pedestals. We put Michael Jackson on a pedestal. We put Princess Diana on a pedestal. We put R. Kelly on a pedestal. And look what they're doing. Look how they living. None of us are perfect, but yo, we have to be careful about who we worship. You know what I mean? And I heard Wade Robertson say that. Not that I'm in support of Wade Robertson, but he has a point. We need to be careful about who we worship. Okay. So getting back to the Vatican, video of the incident went viral, with conservative critics blasting what they said was Francis' graceless disrespect for the tradition and the faithful who wanted to honor it. The the tradition and the faithful. Did y'all hear that? The tradition and faithful. This is all man. The tradition, well, they should have said the tradition of man and the faithful. The spokesman said Thursday he had just spoken with the Pope about it. Francis replied that it was nothing of the sort. The Holy Father, oh my gosh, I'm not calling anybody no Holy Father, except for the Holy Father. The Holy Father himself, which is God, the Most High. Okay? So, the Pope told him that the motivation was very simple, hygiene. Gisardi told reporters he wants to avoid the risk of contagion for the people, not for him. The tradition, I'm going to say the tradition of man of kissing the ring of a bishop or pope goes back centuries as a sign of respect and obedience. Respect and obedience. My goodness. This is why this world is so screwed up today. Gisardi noted that Francis is more than happy to receive the ring kiss in small groups where the spread of germs is more contained, as he did Wednesday when a handful of people were lined up at the end of general audiences. And that's neither here nor there, because he is still spreading germs. People stupid. Several bent down to kiss his ring, and Francis patiently allowed it. You all know that he has a great joy in meeting and embracing people and being embraced by them. Francis is known for gleefully embracing babies given to him to kiss, and germs be damned, sipping from mate gourds offered to him by strangers when he's out and about in the Pope mobile. Well, I'm going to have to look at mate gourds because I have no idea what that is. Let me write this down right quick. Mate gourds. Wow. Jesus, have mercy on our souls. So kissing a gold idol on the ring of the, find out what does that mean and where does the tradition come from. So they kiss the ring of the fisherman. It has an image of the Apostle Peter, and the Pope claims to be his successor. The Vatican faithful claims not to be worshippers of idols. That's what they claim. The Vatican faithful claims not to be worshippers of idols. They say they just venerate them. They just venerate, meaning to regard with reverential respect or with admiring deference. Let's just put it that way. So let me get back to this, because it's simply not true. Many Catholics acknowledge that it's wrong to bow down to statues in their churches. It's wrong to kiss their idols, and I agree with them. But few Catholics know that the Pope himself forces his faithful to bow down and kiss an idol. Many think that when kings and prime ministers bow down to kiss the hand of the Pope as some kind of sign of respect of the pontiff. But what they all do is to bow down and kiss the gold ring that the Pope has on his finger. And that's some nasty stuff, y'all. Ew. Y'all nasty. The ring of the fisherman is an idol of what the Vatican claims to be an image of the apostles, the Apostle Peter, sitting in a boat. The ring also has an imprint of the name of the present Pope. When you bow down to kiss this gold ring, you break the second commandment and you accept and submit to the apostolic succession of the popes in Rome. Exodus 24:6. I don't know what that version is, so let me pull it up in the King James Version. I'm already in Exodus, so let me go to 20. Exodus 20. verses 4 through 6, it says, "Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water underneath the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me." And that's the 5th commandment. "Ye shall not make for yourself an idol in the form of anything in heaven above, or on the earth beneath, or in the waters below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them." And that's exactly what these people are doing. Even a 10-year-old boy can read and understand this Bible verse. "No man shall make idols and images like this, neither should we bow down to them and kiss them. If this is not idol worship, then nothing is." When a king bows down and kisses the fisherman's ring on the finger of the Pope, he bows down to the same anti-Bible spiritual force that controls the Iranian President Ahmadinejad. The only difference is that the Iranian president kisses the hand of the Ayatollah. This is crazy. When you listen to this, you might start to understand why Rome and Islam have struck a peace deal and indulged in interfaith dialogues to promote the coming of false world peace. They serve the same God, little g, who can never be Jehovah or the Most High, the God of the Bible. So y'all be careful about who y'all worshiping out there. Y'all have to be careful about who y'all worshiping. This is crazy. But what's even crazier, this is going to trip y'all out right here. This is crazy right here. Israel admits to sterilizing black Ethiopian Jewish immigrants without their knowledge. Do I need to say that again? Do I need to say that again? Israel admits to sterilizing black Ethiopian Jewish immigrants without their knowledge. After many years of denying it, Israel finally admitted in 2013 that it had been secretly injecting undesirable immigrant Ethiopian Jews with birth control drugs to involuntarily sterilize them. The Israeli government had previously denied the practice, but the Israeli Health Ministry's Director General has now ordered gynecologists to stop administering the drug. According to a report in Haaretz, suspicions were first raised by an investigative journalist, Gail Gabi, who interviewed more than 30 women from Ethiopia in an attempt to discover why birth rates in the community had fallen dramatically. This is crazy. One of the Ethiopian women who was interviewed is quoted as saying, "They, the medical staff, told us they were inoculations. We took it every 3 months. We said we didn't want to, but we did." It is alleged that some of the women were forced or coerced to take the drug while in transit camps in Ethiopia. The drug is in question is thought to be Depo-Provera, which is injected every 3 months and is considered to be a highly effective, long-lasting contraceptive. Nearly 100,000 Ethiopian Jews have moved to Israel under the law of return since the 1980s. But their Jewishness has been questioned by some rabbis, and they're not even the real Jews over there, for real. But anyway, last year, the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, I forgot how to say his name, Netanyahu, who also holds the health portfolio, warned that illegal immigrants from Africa threaten our existence as a Jewish and democratic state. That reminds me of Exodus 1 verses 8 through 10, when Joseph, after Joseph passed away, and the Pharaoh didn't know who Joseph was. So I'm going to start reading Exodus 1 verses 8 through 10. He didn't know who Joseph was, so he was a new king. It said, now there arose up a new king over Egypt, who knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. That reminds me of this President Netanyahu. He says that they did this because he was afraid that the people was going to threaten their Jewish ways, their Jewish lifestyles. Is this is what you call a paradigm. This is what you call a paradigm. This happening all over again. They trying to persecute, but it's not going to happen this time. It's not going to happen. Let me say what he said again. Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who also holds the health portfolio, warned that illegal immigrants from Africa threaten our existence as a Jewish and democratic state. Now the king, the Pharaoh, said almost the same thing. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it comes to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us. He was afraid that if the Israelites he was afraid that the Israelites might join their enemies and turn on them, because they was multiplying so much. There was so many of them. This is a paradigm, y'all, I'm telling you. Haaretz published an extract from a letter sent by the Ministry of Health to units administering the drug. Doctors were told not to renew prescriptions for Depo-Provera for women of Ethiopian origin if for any reason there is concern that they might not understand the ramifications of the treatment. Sharona, I can't her name, but a lawyer from the Association of Civil Rights in Israel said findings from investigations into the use of Provera are extremely worrisome, raising concern of harmful health policies with racist implications in violation of medical ethics. The Ministry of Health Director General was right to act quickly and put new guidelines. The motivation to sterilize these Ethiopian women couldn't be more transparent. The Israelis to accept these black Jews as immigrants because they practice Judaism, and Israel is a Jewish homeland for Jews worldwide, and to reject them based on their race would be a public relations disaster, because Jews love to portray themselves as the most inclusive and tolerant people in the world. So they allowed these Ethiopians to immigrate to Israel, but they secretly, pharmaceutically sterilized them so that they wouldn't create more black Jews in Israel, who could potentially outbreed and replace the Ashkenazi Jews who now dominate Israel. Ashkenazi Jews, I'm going to have to do some research on y'all. Not the real Jews, boo-boo. Y'all think y'all are, and the Most High is going to fix this. And I don't know what y'all going to do then. The Jews, blacks are useful to Jews. Blacks are useful pawns on their chessboard in their strategy for domination all over white countries, but not, of course, in Israel. Wait, to Jews, blacks are useful pawns on their chessboard in their strategy for domination over all white countries, but not, of course, in Israel. They artificially promote and elevate blacks in society ahead of whites, so that whites become subservient to blacks. They also encourage race mixing, especially between black men and white women, because Jews know that mixed race pairs have no loyalty to one race or the other, or easily manipulated by the state. Why they have worked out. Jeez. And there's a lot of down to the bottom. That's why the Most High God of Israel is going to hand them their asses in the last day when their ruling is up. Wicked freaks, and I agree wholeheartedly. Yes. Wow. Okay, let me respond to this person, because it's Twitter.com /user /BeeSparrow. That's me. Okay, so now I want to talk about, did you guys hear about the New York measles outbreak? Initially they were saying that the Jews, the Orthodox Jews, are spreading measles because they don't circumcise their kids. They don't immunize their kids, and so the measles break in New York City, and the city is blaming the Orthodox Jews. I find that fascinating. Okay, at gmail.com. Okay, so it reads, where is it? Where's my story at? Let me pull this story up right quick, y'all. Bear with me. Bear with me. New York confronts AIDS. Okay. Through the fall, traveler after traveler arrived in the ultra-Orthodox Jewish communities of New York from areas of Israel and Europe where measles were spreading. They then spent time in homes, schools, and shops in communities where too many people were unvaccinated. Within months, New York State was facing its most severe outbreak of the disease in decades, with 182 cases confirmed by Thursday, almost exclusively among ultra-Orthodox Jews. Health officials in New Jersey have reported 33 measles cases, mostly in Ocean County, driven by similar conditions. In 2018, New York and New Jersey accounted for more than half the measles cases in the country. Alarmed officials begin. Wait, what happened to my sound? What happened to my sound? Okay, I don't know where I left off. In 2018, New York, okay, alarmed health officials began a systematic effort to bring up vaccination rates and halt the disease spread. But while there has been progress, the outbreak is not yet over. Health officials said part of the problems has been resistance among some people in the ultra-Orthodox neighborhoods to fully cooperate with health workers, get vaccinations, and promptly report infections. Sometimes they hang up and they don't want to open the door, said Dr. Patricia Rupert, the health commissioner of Rockland County, northwest of New York City, where the worst of the outbreak has been, with 116 confirmed cases. It's hard to break an outbreak if you're not getting cooperation. Dr. Rupert said the health officials discovered that religions, schools, or yeshivas in ultra-Orthodox communities in Rockland County excuse me, had vaccination rates as low as 60%, far below the state average of 92.5%. Audits found that some schools were over-reporting vaccination rates. Wow. So, you know, that's all I have for you guys today. This is some disturbing news. Once again, we went over the story about the Pope, who was really trying to look out for the people as far as the ring kissing. But he used germs as an excuse, when really we know that we're not supposed to be bowing down and we're not supposed to be kissing nobody's ring. We're only supposed to worship Yeshua HaMashiach, you know, or Elohim, the Most High. Excuse me, my throat kind of dry. Hold on, let me sip some of this Dr. Pepper right quick. Dr. Pepper ought to pay me for advertising. Speaking of advertising, this podcast is affiliated with West African Tea. You can find that red tea on my website at www.bravesites.com. Oh, wait, that's wrong. It's BeeSparrow.bravesites.com. BeeSparrow.bravesites.com. That's my that's my website where you can go and find a link. You click on that Healthy Corner link and it'll take you to the Lose Belly Fat link, and that's where you can find I think it's a 17% discount. It might be a 75% discount on the red tea. So check it out when you get a chance. So also you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at It's BeeSparrow, and I'm BeeSparrow across the board. I'd like to thank my Spreaker family. They have been supporting me. I went from like to 46 followers in a matter of, and it's still growing. They're still very supportive. So when you get a chance, stop by Spreaker, www.spreaker.com/user/BeeSparrow, and sign up so you can participate in some of the chat rooms, and you can participate in some of the live broadcasts. It's a very fun website. So this is BeeSparrow coming to you from Be Up Stay Up Studios. Holla at your girl and have a wonderful, blessed day. Don't let nobody tell you nothing. Don't let nobody put you down. You be up and you stay up. Alright? One. you.